I titled this video the reason why Deadside is no one's main game. Yeah, so if this is your main game, I'm jealous that you found the thing that keeps you invested that I cannot find. Don't get me wrong, I really like this game, but it does have a fundamental flaw that games it's most akin to do not have. We'll get into that in just a second. So Deadside just had a pretty cool update. They added the bearing finder, hidden stashes, binoculars, and the respawn beacon. Some pretty cool additions to the game. A few extra things to craft, and a few more hours of in-game time that it dearly needed. I think I got an extra 20 hours out of this update before I was waiting for the next one. Deadside is a game that seems to only get about 20 hours out of me out of every update. I think once you've done all the missions and collected all the loot, the game gets pretty stale unless you're mad for PvP. The PvP is fine, I guess. I just can't personally get onto a server with enough people and low enough ping to experience the potential the PvP has to offer. But then again, the game has a low player base at the best of times, and it's a shame really. Whenever you describe what Deadside is to a person who hasn't played it before, it's like Escape from Tarkov, Rust, and DayZ. There's a lot of DNA of all three of these games in Deadside. Deadside players have already adopted the use of the word scav in the game, and from most of my encounters, the players have never played Tarkov and don't know that that's where the terminology comes from. So, how is Deadside like Tarkov? Deadside is a pretty hardcore FPS survival game. Very short time to kill, and well, you have the scavs, you have the Russian themes and guns, and a looting / survival system that is a very mild version of what Tarkov has to offer. But that's about as close as it gets. How is this game like Rust? While DayZ does have base building, I'd say Rust has the best base building in any modern sandbox survival game. Deadside really does not have that, but it has the potential to be that. It really wants you to build a base because the snowball effect in Deadside is very much like Rust. You can go from 0 to hero in an instance, either through PvP or PvE. And because of that, you have almost nowhere to store your gear all of the time because you only get a very limited amount of stash gear, even with the supporter pack. How is this game like DayZ? The exploration through massive landscapes with a sense of gear fear and loss of life as you crest over hillsides and scavenge through abandoned towns. The looting system, ammo, and how much you can carry is also very much how DayZ plays out. Only faster and more conveniently with ammo spawning next to every gun you find in the exact same caliber. I think if people embrace the potential for role-playing in this game, it could have a very bright future, the same way DayZ soldiered on through many years of poor performance and a very slow development cycle. What is Deadside missing? Deadside is missing progression. It's missing depth, and it's missing an early game. You might be thinking, oh, I don't want the leveling system like Tarkov or any of that bullshit. And you're absolutely right. The game does not need a leveling system unless it's there just to unlock blueprints for crafting, the same way Rust used to be. I actually really like that old system in Rust, but it no longer exists. That's the only way I could see leveling working in this game. But it's not really about leveling. When I talk about progression, I think of how easy it is to get a TT or a Makarov pistol and then off to a 1 or 2 star mission, and a lot of the time, if I can get a pistol, I can plow through a mission and get a UMP or an MP5 and a Mossberg shotgun, and I'm already in the mid to late game. It's that easy, and that's when it starts to get boring. But here's a scenario. I was doing a 2-star mission with a friend. We were just passing through to get to a safe zone, and we accidentally ran into a convoy. The convoy just derped out, and bam, now I have an SVD, which is the best gun in the game. So now I've hit the end game. I run into another player at the traders, we run one epic mission, we finish it. I fill my stalker bag to the brim with gear, and I get a camo grenade launcher, and I feel like I've finished the game. I got lots of loot, lots of money, and I don't feel like I need to progress anymore because I have done what the game has to offer, except for the base building. So I've surpassed the early game in about 10 to 20 minutes of early gameplay. There's no real sense of struggle to find loot like in DayZ, or to get out of Primitive in Rust. It's a pretty easy stepping stone from the early game to the end game, and anyone can do it. The only thing that does feel hard about the game is a step up from AI from a 2-star mission to a 3-star mission. They go from pretty dumb to insanely cracked. If you're running any 3-star or epic mission without a full kit and out in the open, you're most certainly going to die. And with the punishing despawning of loot, it can make the game extremely frustrating and also very rewarding at the same time, if you can retrieve your gear and finish the mission, which is a great feature for a game to have. Building a base in this game, however, would give you hours and hours of content, except for the one issue. It sucks. I really hate building in this game. It's extremely tedious and risky if you're in a PvP server, because it takes way too long to get started. And once you do get started, it's really not clear how to build a good base, and it's not that fun. You spend hours chopping, hauling, and crafting just to realize you're short on materials and need to run it all back again. I think the building needs a complete overhaul. Make it so everyone wants to build a base, and not just the no-life sweaty chads that have infinite hours to craft and build. This may seem like a contradiction to what I'm saying about the in-game time, but when a mechanic is just not fun to play with, I'm ultimately not going to spend hours in-game doing it regardless. The game is great though, don't get me wrong. It's just an observation of my time playing the game solo and with friends. These are things we've found that are ultimately the reason why we only get about 20 hours per update out of the game. I understand fully that this game is in development and games like this are very hard to make because of the grand scale at which they're trying to reach. I just want this game to give me a reason to keep logging back in and get me immersed in the world, which right now is a little hard for me. If you're new to the game or picking it up for the first time, don't let this deter you. I've run into people who've put 1,000 hours into this game and that's all they want to play. I don't blame them. There's a lot of fun here to be had. I eagerly await every update and obviously wish this game would have a faster development cycle. But I believe we don't need to rush great things, and this is a great game. So what do you think of Deadside's development cycle? Are they updating the game fast enough? Are they putting enough into these updates? What do you want from the future of this game? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching everyone, I'm Warchild. If you liked the video leave a like, sub to help grow my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.